Yes, your mind is not playing tricks on you. This is like the third rant video in less than a week because I am super excited about the Xbox Game Showcase. I can't stop thinking about it. What are we, 2 days later? I've watched so many reactions, and it's really awesome to see everybody be hyped up about the games that Xbox is bringing forward this year, 2025 and 2026. I mean, we could talk about Fable, Perfect Dark, South of Midnight, but this video I wanted to focus on Gears of War E-Day for a little bit because Xbox had to basically shut down a hater. I don't know what the title of this video is going to be. Probably Xbox silences haters or Xbox destroys the haters. Something a little clickbaity. Something with little pizzazz to get people to watch. Because not only do we have a whole bunch of information regarding Gears of War E-Day, I don't know if you guys have watched any reactions around either. People were crying at the reveal of Dom and Marcus. Super excited that we're going to be going back in time to the prequel stuff. And we got some details about that we'll get to in this video. But I gotta say, Geoff Keighley got utterly destroyed by Xbox this past week on Twitter. And it was a joy to see. He deserved it, honestly. I really like Geoff Keighley. I appreciate what he does with the Game Awards and what he's doing with Summer Games Fest, even if I don't think this past year's show was the greatest. I appreciate he's trying to do something. He's trying to fill the void that E3 left in its wake. And, you know, ever since E3 went away, it hasn't really been the same. Everybody's doing their own shows, and they're very lackluster. So I appreciate what Geoff does. But sometimes he can make a fool of himself a little bit on Twitter. And this time, Xbox pushed back. What is going on, everybody? It's Randall Thor 19, man with the million, back again. Hope everybody's doing well. If you guys can do me a huge favor, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Trying to get back into the video making mood. Got some ideas for some more videos the rest of the week and beyond. Now, we can all sit here and debate what our favorite moments of the Xbox Showcase was, and maybe that's a first for a lot of people in many years. Everybody can kind of point to a different game that spoke to them. Mine, honestly, was Fable. I still can't get that trailer out of my head, and I bring it up for good reason, because that trailer this year had the caption at the bottom that said, in-game footage. And if you recall, last year, there were people doubting that what we saw was real. People kept on saying, oh, it's just a cinematic. Oh, it's just CGI, right? Kind of downplay the graphical fidelity that we saw in the Fable trailer last year, even though Xbox employees and Phil Spencer himself said it was real. Phil Spencer went on Giant Bomb last year, if you guys recall, and was asked, oh, but it's not real, right? And Phil pointedly looked at the camera and said, what makes you think it's not real gameplay? But then we even had people from Playground Games come out and say, no, this is all 100% running in real time on an Xbox Series X, and still people doubt. They always use, oh, it's just CG or just cinematics to sort of downplay how good something might look. And we have a very similar situation here with Gears of War E-Day, although not exactly a one-for-one comparison, because the Gears of War trailer was more in-engine, but that didn't stop people from coming out and trying to downplay what exactly the Coalition and Blur have done with this trailer. Because Geoff Keighley, the man who put on Summer Games Fest, maybe he's feeling a little certain way about it because users voted in his poll, basically gave it a 40% D. Didn't like it. It was like 40% D, 30% C. So the vast majority of people didn't really care for Geoff Keighley's Summer Games Fest. Hey, you know what? It happens sometimes. Maybe it was a down year for games. You'll get them next year, Geoff. Or you'll get them back at the Game Awards. Or was it because Xbox's rating in Geoff's own poll was like a 65% A, 30% B? Unheard of in these times. I don't think I've ever seen numbers like that from a Geoff Keighley poll. People absolutely loved this Xbox showcase. But when we're talking about Gears and we're talking about diminishing people's achievements, that is going to rub people the wrong way. And it certainly did, because an Xbox employee and even a Blizzard employee came out of the woodwork to put Geoff in his place. Now, I'm sure you guys have seen the tweet. It even has a community note from Twitter. Geoff Keighley says, hey, that great Gears of War piece was CG from Blur Studio using in-game assets from Unreal Engine 5. And I'm sure there are some people out there that when the hype kind of came down after seeing Gears, they're like, was it really that good looking? And you see Geoff's tweet, and he just says, hey, it's just a CG piece from Blur, not even by the Coalition. You start to think, oh, you know what, maybe it wasn't that good looking, maybe it wasn't that impressive, more smoke and mirrors from Xbox and the Coalition. It turned out very differently, as you can tell here from the community notes. So the first reply we have here is from Guy Welch, who is an Xbox marketing director with Halo and Gears of War. In his reply to Geoff, he says, glad you liked it. Blur developed the trailer hand in hand with our team, Coalition Gears, using Unreal Engine 5. The trailer is developed with in-game models, textures, environments, and props that players will see in the final game. This follows the same method that we used for Gears of War trailers for the first 3 games, which were made in Unreal Engine with in-game assets showcasing the engine's technical capabilities, and we're pushing that even further with Unreal Engine 5. So a very diplomatic answer, basically saying, hey, glad you liked it, Geoff, but here's the real nitty-gritty of everything. It's not just a CG, because that sort of downplays the technical achievements that our studio have done, explains it in a nice way. But someone took it a little step further. We have Yammer Blanco, and I apologize if I said that name wrong. He's a digital sculptor, cinematic character / creature artist at Blizzard Entertainment, previously at Square Enix, and he sort of went in on Geoff a little bit here. He retweeted it and said, let me rephrase this a little better. The amazing Gears piece you just saw was full real-time, with real-time models, textures, environments, etc., all within Unreal Engine 5. Saying it was a CG from Blur Studio diminishes all the technical achievements you probably didn't notice from how good it was. Though it looks like another pre-rendered CG piece from Blur, it was actually a real-time masterpiece using in-game assets and ray trace lighting in the same engine the game will play. Already seeing people say, quote, yeah, it was cool, but it was CG pre-rendered trailer because of stuff like this. Now, Yammer did field some questions from other ex-users. We have one here that says, this feels like a distinction without a difference. Whole movies are made in Unreal these days. I think he just wants to give Blur Studio credit for the work they did. And Yammer says, it's a big difference if it was all real-time in engine or CG cinematic from Blur with their usual pre-rendered workflow. Blur does amazing work, no denying that. But why not give a shout out to the Coalition as well, since they're the ones literally providing the assets, environments, textures, engines, tools, etc. Seems a little diminishing and misleading the way he said it. Another user says, in-engine still doesn't represent in-game. Forza showed us that clearly last year. I've no doubt Coalition will make an amazing looking game, but as good as that trailer? We'll see. To which he responded, I'm just saying it's all real time. The game with HUDs, multiplayer, console playback, etc. will surely change the final representation from player to player, but generally these dudes make their games feel amazing and cinematic even during gameplay. And this one is kind of where the rubber hits the road, as they say. Someone says, but Geoff doesn't care. He's a bad actor and dances to Sony's fiddle. To which Mr. Blanco says, if it were a PlayStation exclusive, he would have been hyping up the real-time aspect of it so hard. Probably wouldn't have even said Blur worked on it. See, it's one of those things where just saying it's just CG kind of misses the whole point, and that's why you have someone from Xbox marketing for Gears and someone from Blizzard basically have to come out and tell Geoff and tell the world this is how it actually is. And the reason why you see some people out there downplaying how that trailer looked all really kind of stems from Geoff saying it's just CG as a way to dismiss it. Now, we do have some actual info about the game. I still think it's a couple years away. My guess is 2026, maybe launching around the same time as a new Xbox console. But it's sounding like everything I've wanted from a Gears game for a while. Certainly hardcore fans are going to be extremely happy with the return of Marcus and Dom. But apparently the game is going to take a more somber approach, is a linear game, so no more open world, which is good, and it's going to be very detailed. So it's got some heavy themes, set in the city of Kelowna. The game will be linear with no open world. They're using Unreal Engine 5 to rip the city apart. You can sort of see that at the end of the trailer when Marcus and Dom are overlooking the destruction of Sarah, the planet and the city. You can see the corpses coming out of the ground and those red emergence holes where the locusts kind of rushed up and just decimated the human population. So that's going to be really cool to see. It's going to have the brutality of Gears. We saw that from the trailer with that headshot. With over-the-top action spectacles, this information comes to us from Stephen Totillo over at GameFile, and my buddy Hazador sent it over for me to kind of talk about in the podcast, but I wanted to talk about it in this video. Now, over on IGN, the Coalition's developers are promising the Gears of War E-Day will return to horror from the original games, which is, man, music to my ears. I've seriously wanted them to go back and embrace the horror aspect that the original games had, make it a linear experience, handcrafted. But, gaming these days is very much about open world aspects, getting people to get stuck in a game for 30, 40, 50, 60 hours, having all those side quests that are kind of meaningless spread across the city with all the locations and all the question marks that you can go do. And, that can be fun for a bit, but eventually it runs out. I don't mind a linear experience. All this information makes me even more excited for the game when it does come out. Here's a quote. Quote, "A lot of it is about these kind of dark, almost horror-esque scary moments, following with, that's the game we're going to build." I mean, I don't know. It's, everything's sounding really cool. Gears of War E-Day will have 100 times more environment and character details than Gears 5, which is crazy. Kate Rayner says the game will feature hardware ray trace lighting, reflections and shadows, next-gen destruction, and gore tech, new animation technology, and plenty more. I mean, it sounds like the game Gears fans have been asking for a long time. It also is an answer to one of the things that Jez and myself have criticized Xbox for, that lack of nostalgia that Nintendo has, that PlayStation has. 2026, when I think this game will release, will be the 20th anniversary of Gears. And we're at the point now that what's old is new again. And now Gears has come all the way back around, and you have a brand new title, a prequel, set during Emergence Day, stories we've heard about it, how brutal it was. Now we're going to be able to play it, but more importantly, it's going to be nostalgic for people. There are millions and millions of gamers whose first experience with gaming was during the 360 generation with Gears of War, and they have that bond with those characters and that franchise that maybe they lost during the Xbox One generation with the switch to JD and Kate. But now those gamers are grown up a little bit, they don't like the new story, and see these characters from their childhood or their teenage years or their early 20s come back now in their 30s or 40s, be able to play that again. You're going to go on for a nostalgia trip. And you know what? You could even make the case that's what this showcase kind of really heavily featured. The 360, Call of Duty Black Ops, Fable, Perfect Dark, and Gears of War. And what did this one showcase? A new Fable, a new Perfect Dark, a new Gears of War, and Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Nostalgia is a very powerful drug. Anyways, guys, that's the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Should have some more coming out the rest of this week and beyond. It feels good to get back making videos. So if you could do me a huge favor, if you enjoyed it, hit the like button, subscribe for more content. Can't wait to talk to Jez on Xbox 2 this upcoming Friday. We're going to have a lot to say. So yeah, make sure you check that out. Thank you guys for watching, taking the time out of your day to do so. And I'll see you in the next one. Later, guys.